There was once a place where lifting weights wasn't just a hobby. It was a full blown identity, and still is to some people. That place was bodybuilding.com, especially the MISC forums. It was more than a website to some people, including myself, back in the early days of when I started lifting at the age of about 16 years old. It was the mecca of online fitness, a $500 million empire that gave birth to legends like Z's, Greg Plitt, and Steve Cook. For anyone chasing gains in the early 2000s, this wasn't just a supplement store, it was home. And today, the forums are gone. The culture has completely collapsed. And personally, even though I am sympathetic towards capitalism and rebranding in order to make money, I am disappointed. Most of Gen Z doesn't even know it even existed. So, what's happened? Well, to understand the fall, we have to go back to the beginning. Imagine the year is 1995. The internet was still called a cyberspace. A 17-year-old kid named Ryan D. Luca was an aspiring bodybuilder flipping through muscle magazines, looking for any edge he could find. One supplement kept showing up again and again: creatine. The problem was, it was insanely expensive, nearly $100 per month, which was out of reach for most teenagers. That's when Ryan had an idea. What if he could buy creatine wholesale and sell it cheaper online? He launched a site called wholesale and waited. At first, nothing. No orders, nothing. He nearly gave up and went on vacation, but when he got back, he checked his PO box and he was told there was so much mail they had to store it in the back. Orders had exploded. Now, that little idea later became the foundation for something far bigger. Ryan didn't just want to sell creatine, he wanted to create the ultimate fitness hub, a one stop shop for supplements, information, and a community. So, at just 21 years old, he bet everything, $20,000 of his life savings, on a new domain name: bodybuilding.com. From there, the empire grew fast. The site wasn't just a store, it was the place where all lifters from all over the world connected and shared progress pictures. They swapped workout routines and they dropped some insane transformations. And at the center of it all was the forums. The forums were legendary, a chaotic blend of wisdom, memes, support, and, to be honest, complete insanity. I remember it well. If you posted dumb stuff, you would get a negative reputation. If you helped people, you earned a positive reputation, known as rep. It was partly a motivational group, part digital locker room, and part mental asylum. I remember it well. This is where gym culture was forged in real time online. There were classic threads like the guy who drank a gallon of milk a day to bulk, what they called a GOMAD diet. There was the infamous "do you even lift" insult, coined by a user called Chris C. The meme caught on and became the part of fitness language forever. There were call out posts hyping up aesthetics, with people throwing around items like thick, solid, tight, in a way that was accidentally a bit homo, but totally sincere. People would Photoshop each other into absurd scenarios. There were users like Bad Boy 2 who posted a simple photo asking, "Do I have potential?" and ended up getting turned into a full blown meme template by the community. But nothing, and I mean nothing, beats the dumbest argument in internet history. It was a thread that started with a disagreement over training frequency, which spiraled into a full blown meltdown over how many days are in a week. Here's how it happened. Someone suggested a routine where they trained each muscle group every 4 to 5 days, which averages out to around 1.5 times per week. Someone else disagreed, insisting that you can't train something 1.5 times per week. According to him, there are 7 days in a week. That's a fact. You can't have 1.5 training days. That's not how weeks work. The original poster responded, trying to explain that 1.5 times per week is just an average based on a rotating split. But it was too late. The thread exploded. Over 120 posts of people debating calendar math like it was quantum physics. At some point, people made a full documentary about it called "The Dumbest Boy Alive." And that's what made bodybuilding.com beautiful. It wasn't just about science or training, it was pretty unfiltered chaos, brotherhood, and transformation. It was a place where 18 million gym bros came together, some to troll and some to inspire. It was essentially a cleaner version of 4chan. But as the community grew, so did the scrutiny. Eventually, the chaos caught the attention of the FBI. They started investigating certain forum users who posted violent threats, including one claiming they would assassinate the president. Then there was Elliot Rodger, who became known for his disturbing posts and videos before committing a shooting. He had been a frequent member of the forums, and it painted the site as a dangerous light. In 2012, the FDA launched Operation Raw Deal and found that several products sold through bodybuilding.com were laced with illegal steroids. The company was fined $7 million. Ryan and his brother were personally fined $600,000 for selling misbranded drugs. And just a few years later, a study found that one of their most popular pre-workouts, Craze, contained a chemical structure almost identical to meth. Instead of hurting sales, that news actually boosted them temporarily. People rushed to buy it before it got pulled from the shelves. By this point, the cracks were showing. The Wild West era of online fitness was coming to an end. Ryan stepped down as CEO in 2015 after selling a controlling shake to Liberty Media for over $100 million. Liberty tried to restructure the company, cutting costs, laying off long-time employees, and shifting the focus away from community and towards profit. Free programs were moved behind a paywall. Forum activity dropped, athletes left, and the content lost its soul. Then, in 2024, the final nail in the coffin was driven. On September 19th, bodybuilding.com sent an email. The forums, the heart of the community, were being shut down. All the threads, the history, the inside jokes, the advice, the stories was gone. And just like that, the greatest online fitness community in history, in my opinion, vanished. Today, bodybuilding.com is still around, but it just sells supplements. It is a glorified Shopify store, but it's not the same, and it probably never will be. But does that mean it's failed? It was a rite of passage. It was the place where millions of people took their first step into fitness, where awkward teenagers asked stupid questions, but they got real answers. Strangers encouraged each other, they flamed each other, and through all the madness, they did get better. But that era is gone, and the impact lives on. The mindset is created, the culture of obsession, transformation, and sharing knowledge online. That is now a part of everyday life on YouTube, Instagram, even platforms like Facebook, I suppose. Whether you were there or not, you are living in a world shaped by that forum if you are in the gym. So, yeah, maybe they didn't know how many days were in a week, but they knew what it meant to chase your best self. In today's training, we worked up to a set of 5 of 137.5 kilograms on the squat for a 5x5. It was a pretty good day of training, although I felt a little bit fatigued after it. We overall had a good training week, but I think after the next couple of weeks, I'll probably need a little deload on the squat and the press. Then the week after, we will be going for PRs. I really like this single leg press machine that I've found in the gym. It's been sitting around in the back of my mind for a while. I thought that the leverages on it wouldn't be the best. Turns out it's absolutely awesome. So I think I'm going to stick with this for a while and really milk it like I always do. I'll probably stick with it for 3 months and then try switching back to the normal single leg press, the one that I've used before. We did some single leg extensions at the end. Again, this is the only variation that I really like to do my single leg extensions on. There's a guy next to me who is also doing single leg extensions. I think that other machine favors a slightly fuller range of motion, but on this, if you go single leg, doing a lengthened partial is kind of your only bet. You'll notice the difference in effort, nothing against the guy, on mine versus him. He seems to be looking out into the distance, holding a straight face, and I am grimacing through every rep and pushing until I cannot possibly force another one. Take a little rest there and go into the next rep. The overhead press is going pretty well. I worked up to a heavy top set of 5, as you may have seen in the start of the video. and that was, what was that for? That was 63 points. I've used a microplate on that, so it was just over 63 kilograms. So a good week of training. I like that I may have the freedom to actually train 3 days per week relatively soon. I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and do a upper lower rest arms split. This is not a recommended split for most people. If you're a beginner, I would still say stick to full body 3 times a week. And if you're advanced, an upper lower or even an Arnold split could work well. But I'm just going to test it out. So, especially as I'm considering picking up judo as well in the coming months. So, recovery is going to have to be spot on. I wanted to show you some jiu-jitsu at the end. This was a good session for jiu-jitsu, actually. I had a good roll with my instructor and even managed to escape his triangle. Not that he could have kept the triangle on if he wanted to, obviously, but he gave me an opportunity to get out of it at a white belt level. Obviously, a brown belt would have no problem wrapping me up in a triangle and submitting me there, but this session went pretty good overall. I think I felt way more recovered for this session than I usually do on Friday sessions because I just had a protein shake at the end of my leg training. This is something that I'm going to have to keep up in future. After a leg session, I can't just go straight to jiu-jitsu and give good effort for 2 hours. Just showing my body that amino acids are available as soon as I've hit legs for it to absorb does seem to help my focus and energy in the session, even though it's not even a carbohydrate-based food. So yeah, a really good change this week was just having a shake after I hit the gym. So yeah, I went straight to jiu-jitsu, had a good roll for an hour and a half. No takedowns yet. I'm just going to continue pulling guard and practicing staying on the bottom and trying to get to the top for a while. My instructor pretty easily passed guard here. Currently trying to escape side control, and I've had success with hip escaping and grabbing their tricep and pushing them over to the side. So overall, good week of training. Jiu-jitsu is going well. Looking forward to learning some takedowns that I can apply pretty soon. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm in the works of hosting a free community, by the way. So if you are a beginner and you are looking to drop a few pounds, but you have no idea where to start, or you need to know how to build muscle, I have a free community coming soon. So stay tuned for that. As soon as it's available, I'll link it in my bio. For any coaching inquiries, just reach out to me on Instagram. Yeah, this was a great week, to be fair, for training, and I'll catch you in the next one.